Top 10 questions from property buyers in Thailand. An introduction to the beautiful world of real estate in Thailand can be confusing for foreign buyers. But don't worry, we're here to help you figure it out. In this article, we will answer the 10 most frequently asked questions that foreign buyers of real estate in Thailand have. Immerse yourself in the unique world of real estate in Thailand with us. Foreign ownership of real estate. In Thailand, there are certain restrictions for foreign property owners. According to the Condominium Act, foreigners can only own 49% of the total number of units in a condominium. This means that the remaining 51% must belong to Thai citizens. It is important to note that these restrictions do not apply to detached houses or villas. But the land on which the building is located must be rented, as direct ownership of land by foreigners in Thailand is prohibited by law. It is also worth considering that when buying a property in a new building, a foreigner must provide proof that the money for the purchase was brought from abroad. This requirement is due to the fact that Thailand is trying to attract foreign investment and maintain economic stability in the country. In general, despite some limitations, possession of real estate in Thailand opens up a wide range of opportunities for foreigners to live, vacation or do business in this exotic country. A brief overview of the real estate market in Thailand. Market real estate in Thailand. Thailand has attracted increasing attention from international investors in recent years. Stable economic growth, improved infrastructure, attractive investment conditions and high demand for housing from both locals and foreigners make Thailand an attractive market for real estate investment. Of particular interest is the condominium market in major cities such as Bangkok, Pattaya and Phuket. This is an area where foreigners can acquire full ownership of real estate, making it particularly attractive to international investors. Condos in Thailand. They often offer high-quality services and amenities such as swimming pools, gyms, security and beautiful views. California Rawai from $136,119 Rawai. Phuket, Thailand. The Modeva from $124,800 Bangtao. Phuket, Thailand. Elisa Pool Villas from $17,900. 000 Talang District. Phuket, Thailand. Trinity Village from $797,896 C. Sunthon. Phuket, Thailand. Ozone Oasis Condominium from $133,307 Bangtao. Phuket, Thailand. The Ozone Signature from $95,719 Bangtao. Phuket, Thailand. Thailand is also attractive for investors interested in the rental property sector. The country is a popular tourist destination, and the demand for short-term rental housing is high all year round. This allows property owners to earn a stable rental income. However, like any real estate market, the Thai market has its own characteristics and risks. Due to restrictions on land ownership by foreigners, it is important to carefully study the terms of the transaction and legal aspects before investing. It is also worth considering that the real estate market in Thailand can be volatile and property prices can fluctuate. In general, the real estate market in Thailand offers many opportunities for international investors, but requires careful analysis and understanding of local conditions. Property purchase process and tips for choosing properties. Choosing a property. The first step is to choose a suitable property. Consider various factors such as location, size, price, availability of amenities, and potential rental income. Legal check. After choosing a property, it is important to conduct a legal review. This includes checking ownership, checking for encumbrances or liens, and checking for compliance with local laws. Signing the agreement. If all checks are successful, the next step is to sign a preliminary purchase and sale agreement. Usually, at this stage, the buyer makes a deposit, Final agreement. After signing the preliminary agreement, the final agreement follows. At this stage, the buyer pays the remaining amount, and ownership passes to the buyer. Consider different options. There are many real estate options available in Thailand, from budget apartments to luxury villas. Consider different options to find what best suits your needs and budget. Consider your location. Location is one of the key factors when choosing a property. Consider proximity to amenities such as shops, restaurants, schools, and transportation. Check the status of the map item. Always check the condition of the property before buying. If possible, hire a professional inspector to conduct a thorough inspection. Get legal advice. Buying a property in another country can be difficult, so it is always recommended to get legal advice. A lawyer can help you understand local laws and ensure that all documents are in order. Tax obligations of foreigners. Property ownership in Thailand entails certain tax obligations. Property owners are required to pay property tax, the amount of which depends on the value of the property. In the case of a transfer of ownership or a long-term lease, the owner is required to pay the transfer tax. This tax is usually 2% of the assessed value of the property or of the transaction amount, whichever is higher. It is important to note that if the property is sold within 5 years of purchase, the owner is also required to pay value-added tax, VAT, which is 7% of the transaction value. In addition, property owners are required to pay an annual land tax, which is 0.1% of the estimated value of the land, if it is not used for construction. All these taxes are important to consider when buying a property in Thailand to avoid unpleasant surprises in the future. Rental of real estate. Renting out real estate in Thailand is a common practice among foreign owners. This allows you not only to recoup your investment, but also to get additional income. However, this also entails certain tax obligations. Rental taxes. When renting out a property, the owner is required to pay income tax. The amount of tax depends on the income received from the lease. This is important to consider when calculating the potential ROI. Rent management. Owning real estate from a distance can be challenging. It is the owner's responsibility to manage the lease, including finding tenants, maintaining the property, and solving any problems that arise. However, you can use the services of professional management companies. Legal aspects. The terms and conditions of renting real estate in Thailand may differ from those that foreign owners are used to. Therefore, before entering into a lease agreement, it is important to carefully study all its points. Understanding all these aspects will help foreign buyers make an informed decision on the buying real estate in Thailand and successfully manage it going forward. Remote purchase of real estate. The buyer must provide the trustee with the authority to conclude the transaction, sign the purchase and sale agreement, and obtain ownership of the property. All documents signed by the authorized person have the same legal force as if they were signed by the buyer himself. To issue a power of attorney, the buyer must contact a notary in their home country. The document must be apostille certified and translated into Thai. After issuing the power of attorney, the buyer must provide the authorized person with all the necessary documents to complete the transaction. A copy of the passport, proof of financial viability, a certificate of non-criminal record, etc. However, it should be taken into account that the remote purchase of real estate entails certain risks. The buyer will not be able to personally inspect the property, check its legal cleanliness and condition. Therefore, it is important to choose a reliable representative and carefully check everything documents before the transaction. It's also worth keeping in mind that in Thailand foreigners can only purchase condominiums on a full ownership basis, or land and house on a long-term lease. The purchase of full ownership of land by foreigners is prohibited. Buying real estate with a mortgage by foreigners. Getting a mortgage in Thailand can be difficult for foreigners, as most banks offer mortgage loans only to Thai citizens. However, some banks may offer mortgages to foreigners if certain conditions are met, such as having a stable income and a good credit history. It is important to note that mortgage interest rates for foreigners may be higher than for Thai citizens. In addition, loan terms can be shortened. To obtain a mortgage, a foreigner must provide the following documents: a copy of the passport, proof of stable income, income certificate or tax return, a copy of the employment contract, if the foreigner works in Thailand, a certificate of credit history. Some banks may also require you to provide proof of residence in Thailand. For example, a rental agreement or utility bills. After applying for a mortgage, the bank checks the information provided and evaluates the property. If the bank's decision is positive, it issues a preliminary consent to grant the loan. It should be noted that when buying real estate with a mortgage, a foreigner also needs to take into account restrictions related to the right of ownership of the property. Real estate in Thailand. Foreigners can only acquire full ownership of condos, and land and houses can only be leased for long-term use. Visa issues when buying a property. Buying a property in Thailand does not guarantee automatic visa application. However, it can be an advantage when applying for a visa. There is a program, Thai Elite Visa, which offers multi-year visas for foreigners who have invested a certain amount in the Thai economy, including the purchase of real estate. Thai Elite Visa program offers visas for 5, 10, 15 or 20 years depending on the size of the investment. The cost of participation in the program starts at approximately $16,000 and can go up to $64,000 depending on the package selected. At the same time, program participants are granted additional privileges, such as accelerated passport control at the airport, free transfers to the hotel, free annual health checks in hospitals, and others. However, it is worth remembering that even if you have a Thai Elite Visa, foreigners cannot work in Thailand without a work visa. It is important to note that the purchase of real estate does not exempt from the need for regular visa renewal and compliance with Thai immigration laws. Foreigners residing in Thailand on a visa are required to confirm their stay in the country every 90 days. Therefore, before buying a property in Thailand, it is recommended to consult a lawyer or visa agent to make sure that you are fully aware of all visa issues and responsibilities. Transfer of ownership by inheritance. In Thailand, there are certain rules for the transfer of property rights by inheritance. If a foreigner inherits a property, he can become its owner only if this does not contradict the restrictions for foreign owners. Otherwise, he must sell the property within a certain period of time. All these questions are important for understanding in the event of the death of the property owner. The property right is transferred to the heirs in accordance with the will or by law. If there is no will, however, foreigners cannot own land in Thailand. So if a foreigner inherits the land, he must transfer it to the ownership of a Thai citizen within 1 year. If a foreigner inherits a condominium, he can become its owner if the total number of condominiums owned by foreigners in this building does not exceed 49%. If this limit is exceeded, the alien must sell the condo within a year. In any case, the transfer of ownership by inheritance in Thailand is a complex process that requires legal assistance. It is recommended to contact an experienced lawyer for advice and assistance in obtaining an inheritance. Potential buyers before buying a property in Thailand. Transport. The transport system in Thailand is quite developed and offers many options for getting around, including buses, taxis, motorcycles, tuk-tuks, metro and ground rapid transit in Bangkok. Buying a car in Thailand can be profitable if you plan to travel around the country frequently or if you have a family with children. However, it is worth considering that the cost of cars in Thailand is quite high due to taxes and fees. In addition, the cost of car insurance and maintenance can also be significant. On the other hand, renting a car or motorcycle may be a more economical option for a short-term stay in Thailand. It's also convenient, as you don't have to worry about insurance and car maintenance. If you live in a city that has public transportation, such as Bangkok, you may not need your own car. Public transport in Bangkok is quite efficient and avoids traffic jams. In any case, before buying a car in Thailand, it is recommended to carefully study all costs and take into account your individual needs and circumstances.